My name is Azat. I'm an addict. um, Feels good to be here. I don't know. I've always like every time when I first heard about this meeting, I always wanted to come. I just don't have really that much time. I only came out like once or twice, but to be here and speak today, it's a big deal for me. I want to thank Fred Brown, as a whole program and the staff, for making this happen today. I know you guys are tired after a long day at work. Fucking yeah, so I was my family was a very dysfunctional family when I was growing up. Um no drug addicts or alcoholics in my direct family, but my dad is an addict, a gambling addict and addicted to females in a way. Um yeah, yeah, so growing up, I was always there's always fights in my house. My parents, I'm Armenian. My parents came here 97. In 97, I was born 6 months later. So, they're like new to the country and my dad just wants to go out and chase all the tail he can and just be out all night, gamble, and just ever since I can remember, it's fights, nonstop fights. My dad's very verbally abusive. He was physically abusive sometimes. And it's very old school mentality, traditional. So I just remember like walking on eggshells at my house, always watching mom crying and stuff. So, that was like my childhood. My parents split 7 times, going to grandma's house for like a couple of weeks, and then all he comes, sorry, whatever, go back. So like I had to experience that 7 times until finally they divorced when I was 10. And I was always scared of my dad. I was always a troublemaker in school. Like I would always have detention and get sent to the principal's office and stuff. But like, um, when my parents divorced and my mom's like a real naive like person, like she doesn't know, like she didn't know that much, so I could like work my way around her easily, manipulate her easily. So I remember I wanted to smoke weed when I was like in fifth grade. I would always go to the skate park. And I'll ask those fools like they'll be there like smoking little joints or whatever, and I'm like, hey, let me hit that shit, and they wouldn't fucking give it to me. So when they got divorced, I remember I got kicked out of elementary school. I had to wait so I could go to middle school. I got to middle school, and one day I went and I saw these kids smoking some weed. I was like, it's my chance. So I went, hey, let me hit that, whatever. And that was the first time I ever smoked weed. I was 11 years old, and man, like I don't know like how to explain it. I just feel like they say like I have arrived. Like that's how I felt. Like that was like what I needed. And I just became a pothead instantly. I became a pothead instantly, smoking weed all day, every day. Um and real quick, like by the time I left middle school, I had probably taken like 40 to 50 ecstasy pills. So it wasn't just weed. I was becoming more of a troublemaker. I never did homework, not a day in my life. Only like those little word search puzzles. I like doing those. And yeah, it's just for me, like back then, it was all fun and games. Like it was kicking it with the homies, getting high, going to parties, with females. I enjoy being a class clown, enjoy being a rebel, and I just never really thought of like nothing of it. I never like thought the consequences were gonna like affect me like that. Like every day my mom's getting calls from like the teachers, I'm getting sent to the office. But it was like I was just like laughing off, like yeah, whatever. And all the normal kids, the ones who went to school with backpacks and did schoolwork and did homework and they were the good kids. Like I just thought like they're stupid. Like you got this whole life of freedom in front of you. I could get high all day, do whatever the hell I want. No one tells me what to do. Fuck you. Like, why are you guys listening? Like, why are you guys going that path? Like it's funner this way. Um, yeah. So my drug use, like I said, it got bad quick, real quick. By the time I was a freshman in high school, I'd already done almost all the psychedelics. I did crystal meth for my first time, uh, not knowingly. I thought it was coke, but I did crystal meth my first time freshman year, and I was just like I said, like a little rebellious kid, you know, a lot of anger, just doing whatever, you know. And then I got kicked out of four high schools. Got kicked out of four high schools in a year and a half. And during this time, like, you know, crimes that I'm committing are getting worse. You know, like everything's like slow. You know, the fights at home are getting more constant. And my mom works two jobs. Like she even have the time to really be on me like that. So I got away with a lot. Like it was real easy. Like, hey, you're not gonna do that no more, right? No, mom, I'm not. And that's it. You know, like that was our talk. She never checked if I did homework, never nothing. She's too tired for that shit. You know. So and I remember when I was getting high, like those party days, like you know, they like my friends, they could function, you know, like they could smoke the weed, drink, do the ecstasy, do this, pop that, and go to school and still do what they do. Like I couldn't do that, you know? Like I was pissed like when everyone stopped, like, what's up? We're not gonna get more, you know? Like now it's over. Like for me, it was never over, you know, I just wanted more and more and more, you know? And that's like when the first little like I thought they were weird, you know, but like deep down I'm like, maybe I'm the weird one, you know? And so when I got kicked out of all the high schools, I already had like a cocaine phase, Xanax phase, and whatever. Besides that one time doing meth on accident, I told myself like I'm never gonna do crystal meth, crack, or heroin, but I want to try everything else, you know. And when I got kicked out of high school, I because of getting all the like kicked out, we had to move. So the final place that I moved, it was a block full of heroin addicts, right? And I just always seen them. Like I seen like the good side, you could call it. Like I would see them high, I would see them nodding off, I would see them get together, you know, like smoke or shoot or whatever. And I never saw what happened behind the scenes, you know. So one day I remember I had like my weed money or whatever it was, and they were doing like a little bad, and I was like, look, like I'll give you guys this money, but I want to do something, you know. And I was 15 years old, and I did heroin for the first time, and that was when I really arrived. Like that, you know, like after that, that shit got me. Like at this point, I fully isolated from all my old friends. A couple of the people from the group that I had to this day, they're still addicts. They started getting high shortly after I did. But I was just with these people every day, you know, and these are like the gangbangers, the criminals, the drug dealers, you know, getting into that crowd, you know. And like honestly, like I said, like it was still kind of fun and games, you know. Like yeah, I'm on heroin now, but again, I didn't really like think those consequences would apply to me. I remember my big brother, you know, he told me like after a few months of me using, he told me like he tried to get me to stop a few times. He saw I couldn't, you know, I wouldn't, and he pointed one of my neighbors that got high. He pointed him out to me. He goes, in a year you're gonna be like that, you know, if you keep doing this. And you know, he was real bad. I'm talking about can't find a vein, like stealing from his parents. You know, like the just you know, he was already like hitting a bottom, and I felt insulted. You know, like the fuck, like you're not gonna tell me like I'm gonna be like that never. Like I'm never gonna be like that. You know. And sure enough, like it didn't take too long. You know, I'm already not showering. Clothes got holes in them. You know, like I was on OR for my first case when I turned 18. Um, You know, like I'm already at this time, like I'm doing burglaries left and right, robbing the connections, you know, like I'm like full blown addict, you know? And still like it was still cool. Like for me, like that's what I was comfortable in, you know? And then fast forward a little, you know, through the jails and whatever and all that bullshit that comes with it, you know, I got jumped into a gang, and you know, I got jumped into a gang, and that's when it really took off, you know? And after that, like, it's like now I got something to prove, you know? So, like, whatever I was doing before, I went 10 times harder. And the people I'm around are just total scumbags, scandalous criminals, like I said, game bangers, you know, like drug addicts. And so I don't want to get too deep into that, but, you know, everything that comes with it, all the bullshit, all the fights at home, the drama, whatever, right? So, my first time, I'm gonna rewind a little because this is important. my first time my mom found out I did drugs, I was in seventh grade. I took a weed edible, a brownie, and the guy told me eat a quarter of it, and I ate three quarters of it, and I was like hallucinating, like really bad. I was really high. I was on my way to a party. I couldn't go to the party. I called my mom. I told her, "Hey, come pick me up." And when I got in the car, like she doesn't know what weed is, what drugs is, but what drugs are, like exactly. But she saw me and she knew something wasn't right. And her friend was in the car, and her friend told her. So that was the first time ever stepping into an NA meeting. I was like 12 or maybe 12 years old. And my mom took me to this place and I walked in and it was, like a room like this, coffee, donuts, whatever. And I saw like older people, and I'm like, I walk in, I was looking at me like little kid, like who the fuck is this kid, And I remember like, hey, like, what are you doing here? Like, what do you do? I'm like, I smoke weed. What do you do? And when I was like, oh, I'm a crackhead, oh, I do heroin, I do crystal. And I got scared and I ran to my mom. I'm like, where the fuck you bring me? Like these people are crazy, like, why am I here? You know? So just hang on, that's really important. So that was my first time ever. I didn't even know it was an NA meeting. But yeah, so through the jails, I got into a couple of programs, right? And I've been to like 15 programs, I've been to like 15 programs. Four of them were court ordered. The rest I would go just to get off the street, just to have some food, a bed, take a shower, build up some, like some trust with my family, like, oh, it's gonna be good, and I'm out, right? And I'll never complete them. Like even after a couple of days, I'll leave, So, but in those programs, like I'd always see these posters, and we would have panels and whatever. And I thought this was bullshit, like I didn't believe this shit. Fucking chips, books, hugs, like I thought whoever came to these meetings were weirdos. You guys didn't have friends, so you guys come here, like you guys have nothing to do. If anyone like looked around too much, I thought they were on tweak. If someone did a little this too much, they're on heroin for sure. If you're laughing, you're smoking weed. Like I didn't believe it was possible. I just didn't believe it. I thought it was like a cult, really. Um, so yeah, that takes me to my first experience with a positive rehab before this one. Um, Again, I'm doing my thing. I'm getting high. I get busted, and due to COVID, I get sent to a rehab. Right? I go there, and there's two workers there. One of them is from an enemy neighborhood of mine, and one of them kicked it with a bunch of my homies that I know, but me and just never really met. And they both worked there. And I'm like I said, I'm Armenian. They're Armenian also. So when I got there, and one of them worked at night, one of them worked during the day. So I started like chopping it up with these fools, like, and one of them, the one that worked during the day, man, he dressed different. He's talking different. He's preaching this program, and you could tell like something in him shifted, And I was always like, what the fuck? Like, so I would ask him. I'll go every day, like bug him, like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, cause deep down, I feel like I always wanted to get clean, Deep down, like, I don't think anyone really likes being like that, You feel like a scumbag. You feel like you're a piece of shit. You're a liar. You're a manipulator. You're on the streets, homeless. Like deep down, we don't want that. Well, I didn't want that. I just didn't know what else there is out there. I didn't believe there's anything else out there. I always believed I'm gonna die an addict or get life in prison, and that's that. You know. That's just that's the only thing like my head could wrap around. I couldn't wrap around anything else. So when I saw this guy, really like it was interesting to me. And I remember the main words he would say were surrender. Just because I'll ask him, like I'll try to find loopholes. You telling me I can't smoke weed? You telling me I don't even like, like I'm not even alcoholic. Like what the hell? And he'll always just say, man, just surrender, surrender. And I didn't believe no God. I didn't have no God. And he always talking about surrendering God. And lifestyle I come from, surrendering, I don't do that. I'm not gonna admit defeat because I'm stubborn, And but it just always like that's all he would say. And then one time I was talking to him about my plan that I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna smoke weed, I'm gonna kick it with the homies, but I'm not gonna do any other hard drugs. Because like I said, when I got my little start at Fred Brown, my my main goal was to live that dirty life, that criminal life, while being clean. Like that was my goal. Like I want to just be in this lifestyle, but I just don't want to be a slave to my drug addiction. That's it. Give me that, and I'm perfect. So I was explaining that to him, and he's like, "That's your disease." And I looked at him, And I told him, like, I got my blood work when I came in. Like, I don't have no disease, you know? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I didn't know they called this a disease, you know? And he explained to me, and I still thought it was bullshit when he told me it's a disease, you know? But I remember that. And then, so I tried doing what I told you guys I wanted to do. I tried, being clean and living dirty. And sure enough, that shit didn't last that long, you know? I was kicking in with my homies, uh, you know, doing fraud out there in the streets, running amok, and fucking got high, of course, you know, like I got high, uh, didn't do what I was supposed to do with the outpatient rehab stuff. So I went back to jail. I went back to jail, caught a new, a fraud case, and that's what got me sent here. That's what got me sent here. And, man, if you're here, like, pretty sure all you guys, you know, you guys are here or you guys been here, like, you know, like, you're blessed to be here, you know, this program, like, I wouldn't be clean today if it wasn't this program, you know? Like the homie said, like I came here from county on off the bus. I was having a little battle with myself. I didn't know if I want to be here. Like I already tried this a couple times, you know. The previous rehab, the guy hooked me up, the one I'll talk to hooked me up with a sponsor, and my sponsor put the step work in front of me, the step work guide, the book, and I told him like I'm not gonna do that, you know. Like put that shit away from me, you know. I'll go to meetings. That's what you guys want. I'll go to meetings. I went to meetings with a little mean mug, and like that's all I did. I went to meetings, didn't talk to anyone, don't approach me, and I'm like I'm not doing that step work shit, right? So that was me, what I called trying. So in my head, I was like, okay, I tried this thing a couple of times, you know, already, and didn't work. So I was having a little battle when I got here. Um, so I got here and Nancy, like the homie said, Nancy's there, you know, bring me some food. And I'm like in my head, like, I don't want to be here. Like, why am I here? You know, I could just go, you know? And I remember I was in that little quarantine house. I was like reading books, and the first couple of days I'm trying to fix my bandana on my bed this way. And she's coming like, you know, you can't put that there. I'm like, oh, she didn't say I can't put it this way, you know, like me and Nancy were having like a little battle. And I was still like still in that mind state, you know, like, oh, I'm fucking this gangster, this, that, right? Like, you know, and finally, one of the biggest things that happened to me in that when I was there, there was a homie there, you know, an older homie, and he was in the house behind me, and he'd always see me like smoking a cigarette, reading a book or whatever, because I'm on quarantine, and we just started chopping it up, and I remember he asked me like, "Hey, like, what's up? You know, you're active or what?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm active. You know, what's up? You know, whatever." And he looked at me and he was like, "You're not active." He goes, "Active people don't come to rehab." You know, he goes, "You're here because there's a reason. Like, you know, deep down, there's a reason why you're here. You're here because you want to be here. I mean, if you're about that life, like, you would have got off that van and went straight to the hood. Fuck how much time they're giving you, you know, like whatever. Go there and do what you do, right? Why didn't you do that?" And that shit pissed me off. You know, that shit got me mad. You know, but I was thinking about it all night. Like, why am I here? You know, because I always wanted to get clean. Like I said, I just didn't know what the solution was to it. I tried going to Armenia. I tried leaving the country. My mom took me to a therapy session one time. That was the worst thing ever. Like I tried methadone clinics, Suboxone, maintenance. I tried it all, right? But it never worked. So I was like, that's why I was like, what's the point of me coming here? You know? So we had a really good group of guys right there, and really good group. You know, we had a really good like God orchestrated, like has been orchestrating stuff in my life, you know, and I believe I got there when I did for a reason, you know. And I was like the youngest one at that point. They're all older, and most of them have like experience in the program, you know. So I was like, whatever, you know, like might as well like let me be here, you know, and see what happens. And I was having like I wouldn't get out of bed to go on that little morning walk shit, and you know, like I wouldn't do no writing. Like it took me forever. Like I had to do all my writing the last few weeks. I know I was just like, you know, and but man, like that homie ended up being a really good friend of mine. Like he ended up explaining to me like the steps and you know what the program is. And I remember working out in the garage over there where they have the posters up, and we're getting a little routine in, and he's explaining me like the principles behind the steps and what this is and what this means, you know. And I was like, all right, like no one ever like I never had that knowledge, you know. And I remember going to a Point Furman meeting. That was a big one. I went to the Point Furman meeting, and all these like people with like, you know, they had like this peace and serenity. Like you could tell, you know, they had smiles, and I remember like I was sitting there like, want what these fools got, you know? Like, how do you do that, you know? Like, how they get that, you know? And I don't know, just that was a big one. And unfortunately, Nancy, you know, Nancy was a big help to me. Nancy, like, I love you, you know? Like, she was my second mom, you know? Yeah, she was. She was my second mom, Matt. Um, but like I said, unfortunately, I didn't stay clean after that. I almost had 9 months. I wasn't doing no step work though. I wasn't doing no step work. I was going to a gang of meetings. Like I had meetings shoved up my ass every day, but that shit didn't help me, you know? I'm being real with you. Like when I hear that meeting makers make it, that's bullshit. I'm telling you guys right now. They say 90 and 90, I probably did like 390 days. That shit, you know? I wasn't doing no step work and I wasn't being vulnerable. I wasn't getting honest, you know? And I wasn't willing to do the work. You know, like I always say this, I tried doing your program my way, you know? And I ended up kicking it with the homies again. I remember I slowly got back into that lifestyle. I bought a gun. I was keeping it in my car while I'm in the sober living and started, you know, engaging in criminal activity again. Excessive gambling was a big one. And sure enough, while I was at the sober living, I relapsed, you know? I relapsed and I overdosed like 2 streets down over here. And like I said last time, I don't know who saved me. I don't know who Narcan me, but someone like they pulled up to the rehab and someone Narcan me twice. And even after they Narcan me twice, I didn't wake up for like another 30, 40 minutes and I could have died that day, you know? But God had other plans. So during my relapse, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like during that 9 months, I finally got a piece of that surrender, a piece of that peace that I saw that people had in the meeting, you know. And my family was starting to like my sister doesn't talk to me for 10 years. My mom tried killing herself over my addiction. You know, I didn't mention that. I robbed my own aunt's house, like burglarized my aunt's home, took like $10,000 worth of stuff. Like, you know, like there's some wreckage, you know. And they're finally starting to little talk to me a little. But so everything was like looking good when I was clean over here. But I wasn't doing the steps, like I said. So when I relapsed, I had a really good hustle. My sister's friend was a tweaker, and my friend's sister was a tweaker, and she worked for the USPS. You know, so she'll get all the credit cards. I had this guy on the black market for like few hours of Bitcoin. He'll get all the information, activate them, and I was like, my habit, my gambling drug habit with the motel money or whatever was over $1,000 a day. I had a car, I had all the guns I wanted, I had all the drugs I wanted, I had the homies, like and that lifestyle had everything you could want, right? But I was missing that peace and that surrender, you know, like that finally experience being clean for 9 months, right? I was missing that shit. And I remember when I was here, I had a homeboy without even knowing that my old sponsor, the one I told him I want to do step work with, he's going to those meetings and that's his sponsor too, and he's in the program now. So, and he relapsed too. So I'm getting high with him. And I remember one day we're in the motel room and I told him, hey, don't you miss it? Like, don't you miss like going to those meetings? Don't you miss being clean? Like, you know, and we're talking. He's like, yeah, you know. Like, unfortunately, he passed away like a few months ago. Yeah, you know, he just stuck in it. But like I said, everything was going good. Everything was going good for that life. And all the homies that I had that were here, they were blowing my shit up every day, calling me. You know, they were clean. Hey, you know, and I'm not answering. I don't fucking answer that shit. You know, like leave me alone. But nah, they wouldn't give up. They're calling me. They're calling my mom. My mom telling me, oh, they're praying for you every night, whatever. Like, you know. And finally, it was after New Year's. I got clean January 25th of last year. So after New Year's, after New Year's, that same homie that I had that experience with, you know, he kept calling me. I'm like, you know what, this guy deserves a call back, you know. So I called him. It was like 3 in the morning. I was getting high on some street, and in the beginning, I'm telling you guys, like I was trying to play it off like I'm good, you know, like oh I'm good, man. You don't know how much dope I got. I got like fucking 2 ounces right here. I got this going on. You know, I got this. I got this. And he's not trying to hear all that, you know. And he got me to break, you know. So I told him like, hey, you know what, I'm not good. Like I miss it, boy. I miss being clean. I'm in the grapes. I want to get clean, but I don't know what the fuck to do. Like I don't know how, you know. And I started like breaking down, you know, like I broke down and I teared up a little. And he told me some crazy ass shit. He told me, go home. 'Cause I haven't been home in like weeks. He's like, go home, kiss your mother on the forehead, get on your knees and pray to God, you know. And I went and I went home my mom was sleeping, and I went and woke her up, and I kissed her on the forehead, and she's looking at me like I'm fucking crazy, like she didn't want to do me right now, you know. I go to my room, and for the first time in my life, I got on my knees. I got on my knees and I started praying, like praying, you know, like asking God, like, you know, like begging for like, hey, give me the strength, give me something, give me the courage, like put something in my way, like I want to live like this, you know. And across the street from my house, there's a church. My mom already didn't know what to do. She was going to that church, and one day she went to that church. She was crying, and the lady at that church is like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she told him, "Hey, my son's an addict. My son's this, my son's that." And she's like, "Oh, my husband got a detox center. They have a bed open." And I was lying to my mom, saying, "Well, I'm calling a bunch of treatment centers, but no one's answering, or they don't have room and everything." Right? So that kind of fucked it up. I called the homie like, "Hey, they want me to go to this treatment center, and it's a private detox. I never been in no private. You know, I've always been in like facility like this." And he's like, "Just go. He's like, that's what you paid for. Go." You know. And I went. I talked to my family. I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll go. I guess. You know, like, let me try one more time. And I went to that detox center. It was only for 2 weeks. It was the first detox I ever completed in my life. But man, I left that like when I was there, I had my phone on me. I took drugs with me. I had my phone on me the whole time. Like, but honestly, like once the drugs ran out, I never use that phone to call anyone that gets high. Like, if you guys know the valley, we had a motel right there on Sepulveda. That's where my homie was. I was like 3 blocks away, you know? I was like 3 blocks away, and I never called no one to come. You know, I was defeated already. You know, like, that was my surrender moment. Like, all right, you know, like I asked for this. Let me see if I could do it right this time, because I know this shit works. All the other guys are clean, you know, but they're doing their steps. I got out. I got with my first sponsor, and I told him like, "Hey, I went to a sober living. I told him like, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do whatever you ask. You know, like I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna give you my all." I told him, you know, and man, if only I'd done that shit from the start. Like it was so fucking easy, bro. Like it's so simple. Like all you have to do is go to meetings, do step work, find your God. You know, have a connection with your God, and things happen. You stay clean. That's the main one. But opportunities, you know, come up. Like that same detox center that I got clean at. I'm like the operations manager right there. Like all the people who were working there who got me clean, I'm their boss now. You know, and yeah, it's kind of fucked up for them, but it's cool. Yeah, I'm their boss now. Like I work at 2 treatment centers, and I have a girlfriend, so that's 3 full-time jobs. And then I go around in the state, or like I go help other rehabs pass inspection. Like there's another like financial thing, you know, like I'm coming from like homelessness in the street, you know, like this is crazy for me, you know. But fuck all that. My mom who tried killing herself over my addiction, me and her like this today. You know, she's like my best friend. And she understands this addiction now. You know, my girlfriend's mom's in Al-Anon, and they're doing their little Al-Anon thing, and sometimes I wish they weren't, but it's good, you know? And man, like the step work, like I told you, I started getting high at a very young age, right? So I never knew who I was. I'm still currently finding myself through the steps, you know? I'm finding myself, and everything that I thought I was, I'm like the total opposite. I'm a fucking sensitive, soft teddy bear guy who wants to be loved, you know? Like people always come and tell me like, "Oh, you look intimidating." I don't like that shit. I don't want to look intimidating. Like, come say hi to me, you know? I'm scared to say hi to normal people. I'm scared of normal people who don't get high. Like I've always been scared of them. I am, because I feel like it must be real hard to have your shit together, you know? Like that shit scares the shit out of me, you know? But I'm finding myself, you know, like I'm finding myself, you know, and like my relationship with God, like it's not always great. It's not always great, but like my higher power got me, you know, like I know that for sure. And I'm coming, like I used to hate religion. Like I was like, you know, but I have a God today. It's not my mom's God, but it's my higher power, you know? And he got me, you know, and like every day I have to turn my will over to my higher power. You know, every day. If I don't do that, my day's fucked. Something's going wrong, you know? And I don't know, man, like a life beyond your wildest dreams, like you were saying, you know, like my life is way beyond what I ever thought it could be. I couldn't even like I said, I couldn't comprehend that this shit was possible for me, you know? Like I was in that's all I saw, you know? The guns, the drugs, the dope, the gangbanging, the crime. That's all I really was comfortable in, you know? And I remember telling Nancy, like she just reminded me, like, I don't think I could do this. That's not me. Like getting clean. Like that's not who I am. And like I'm surprising of myself, honestly. Like I'm doing it, and it's all because of this program. And I the best feeling in the world, honestly, is to help someone else. Help someone else get clean. Me, I like targeting the youngsters. I always like talk to the young people in the meetings and stuff. I'm about to be sponsoring soon, but even if I'm not sponsoring, yeah, even if I'm not sponsoring, like I still like help them whatever they need, mentor them, whatever. And my aunt that I burglarized her home, she just said her first word to me like 2 weeks ago. Said hi. She lives right under me, so I see her every day. So that's a big deal to me. She doesn't say hi to me, like she doesn't look at me. She doesn't nothing. She came to my birthday party and she said hi to me. Big deal to me. My sister who didn't talk to me for 10 years, she's like my best friend today too. And I don't know, like I'm the life like how I am today is just a trip. Like I'm held accountable for my actions. Like it just feels so good to not have to like walk around all tough and whoop de whoop and like nah, bro, like I have a super calm life today, except for a crazy girlfriend. Besides that, everything is very calm. And she's in recovery too, so it's okay. But like I said, like that's what I was getting to. That meeting that I told you guys that I went to when I was a kid. It turns out that detox center that I went to on Wednesdays, they have their own outpatient office, and that meeting I went to was their outpatient office's meeting. So when I stepped in there, my first meeting, and I saw their name, and I'm like, oh shit, like I think I came here once, as I was sharing that. And it turned out that the guys who have the old timers, who have like 17, 18, 20 something years, right? They remembered me. So that was like, what? Like I came full circle back to that meeting that I thought everyone was crazy and became one of those crazy people at that specific meeting. And now I work for the company who hosts that, like that trips me out. And I don't know, like this program has saved my life. Like I should have been dead or in prison by now, or even if I was just homeless. Like I don't want that. Like I don't know where I would be, but there's nowhere pretty. And all I had to do, bro, all I had to do is just do the step work. I'm not even saying take all the suggestions. Take 40% of the suggestions, and you're good. I'm serious. Like I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect human being. I don't work a perfect program, and I don't take everyone's suggestions because I'm a stubborn asshole. But I take a good portion of them, and whatever that I don't take, I learned the hard way of why I should have took it. And as long as I don't pick up, I get to continue finding out who I am. I get to continue living like this amazing life. And just being present. I don't have to look for like escapes. To get out of reality, get out of myself. Like I'm cool with who I am today. I'm cool with myself today. I'm cool with how life is. It's not fair, but fuck it. Like I got the tools. Like I could get through. The unfairness and the bullshit and all the hate and all the anger and like I could get through that. It's not in my heart. It's in other people's hearts and other people's minds. And it used to be in mine. But I don't know where I'm going now with this. But all I want to say is, like this program, it works if you work it. If you don't want it, you're not gonna get it. You know, do the work. Do the work. Take suggestions at your own pace. Progress, not perfection. And stick to the winners. That's a big one. Stick to people who are serious about the recovery. I've seen a lot of people get taken out by people who are close. They're close with who go out. And be in gratitude. Be grateful. And yeah, man. Thank you. That's all I got.